Mhm.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Division B West in NGS Season 19. Tonight we have Macro Machines playing against Surely We Scale. I'm Omster, and tonight I have the privilege to have Icon co-casting with me.
Hello.
So, both teams just getting ready now, getting started. So far, our bans tonight are going to be Infernal Shrines and Cursed Hollow for Macro Machines, and Dragonshire and Towers of Doom have been removed by Surely We Scale. Macro Machines chose to have map pick, so they chose Abraxas holdout for map number 1, which means Surely We Scale will get first ban and first pick on their side. So, considering we have Braxis coming out, what are you expecting to see in terms of gameplay style here, Icon?
We're gonna see the typical 4-1 split. It's gonna be a battle of the offlaners, and we're gonna see how rotationally advantaged these teams are. Like if they're going to force like rotations up to top to gank the offlaners, or who's gonna have better wave clear on the Zerg.
I think the wave clearing and just being able to push the lanes is incredible. We often see heroes that can get past walls easily for ganks on this map, so Murden, a great tank for this map. Um, we often see Genji as a good one. Brightwing can be really strong on this map, so being able to help your offlaner gain enough pressure to get the top beacon without just leaving your 4-man out to dry uh, is about the best that you can do there. So yeah, so some of the other picks that are really strong here are things that can control small areas, like Junkrat, for example, incredibly strong. Uh,
Bro, Stukov.
Stukov, always strong. Gosh dang it, that's the most annoying thing. They didn't know you were a co-caster and they kicked you. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, but that was funny. But, so, yeah, and you want a team that can fight over point, but also has enough. So Gul'dan is really strong on this map. Raynor often chosen on this map. Some of the mages that aren't on strong, like Li Ming, can help get kills on the beacon. But if you lose, or even if they get fairly close, like 70% to 100% on the Zerg waves. Li Ming not the strongest at clearing out the mass of the wave. She's still good at clearing out the big things like Guardians and Ultralisks, but when it comes to all the little Banelings and all the other stuff, not the greatest. So welcome to everyone who's here. Again, we are in Division B West, and it's Macro Machines versus Surely We Scale. And yes, the game is this late because these are our West Coast teams. What do you think we might see for bans out of these teams, Icon?
I think we're going to see. Do you know if either team plays Rexar?
I don't know, but I think he can be very strong on this map and played well.
I think a Genji ban, and if any of the teams play Genji, is strong here because Genji can take the boss very quickly. He can rotate, as you were saying before, and he can jump in the middle of the Zerg and actually protect himself and shoot a ton of damage to the enemy team.
If he's very good, he can also solo the boss fairly early on, which is ridiculous. And yeah, there's a lot of good heroes on this map for that sort of thing. And tanks that create space. Garrosh, Diablo, even Arthas sometimes can be really strong on this map if played properly. So, yeah, I'll take a quick look at the maps that have been banned here. Like I said, we've got Infernal Shrines and Cursed Hollow banned. So those are two larger macro maps, one of which is big on the team fights and Infernal Shrines in the middle, whereas Cursed Hollow is a map where you can scale a little bit if you're confident you can give away the first 2 tributes, but then collect the next 3 once you've hit 10. So those won't be available to us. And on the other side, Towers and Dragonshire. Dragonshire and Towers, both maps with a lot of 2v2 and 3v3s. It could be that Surely We Scale prefers full team fights, or maps where you don't have to really consider how many people are rotating and where your resources are allocated. That can really trip some teams up, having to choose who goes where when, and do we send our global top, do we send our global bottom, and like, do we continue pushing this wave or do we rotate now? So those maps are maps that require a lot of, I would call, micro decisions, and they have also been removed here. So Brax is, I would say, very simple map. One boss is neutral. Both sides have a siege camp of fire bats and a bruiser camp with a raven and a few other mechanized friends. They might be Vikings, landed Vikings maybe. Anyway, but they're alternated. So for the side on the right, the fire bat is on the top and the bruiser is on the bottom, and it's vice versa for the right hand side. So just double checking here. Yes, we have micro machines on our left side, and or macro machines, sorry, and Surely We Scale is going to be on the right. And we should be popping momentarily into our draft. Get ready, get used to hearing Stetman's voice this map, ladies and gentlemen. So again, first pick, first ban should be on the right-hand side for Surely We Scale, since the map pick was for macro machines. Just waiting for the players to finish coming in here. Again, as Icon said, good bans could include things like Genji, Brightwing, Rexar.
Any of the tanks that can sit on the point forever. Johanna, Garrosh.
Yeah, very, very strong picks of characters that are just hard to push away. Now this isn't a map you can get a lot of value from, like, weird macro picks, although we might see, now, we don't want to jinx it, we might see Oku's Artanis on this map. She does love that character. Vala the first ban, however, good all-around character and one that can be used as a hyper carry with a double healer comp. She can be frustrating on the point, and if she goes W build, she can clear waves easily. So a good ban. What do you think of the Junkrat ban, Icon?
Pretty standard. I think it's good for the map. I do like the false side ban.
Banning Fast and Furious here, yes, taking a global out. I wonder if the Dahaka will be banned in response by macro machines, as he's probably the strongest offlaner right now. Although I would say he doesn't handle Artanis' aggression very easily, and this and BoE are about the only maps where you're likely to see an Artanis. So we do see the Stukov picked. He wasn't banned, and he is going to be annoying people on the beacon with purple puddles with octopus faces.
What do we see out of macro machine?
Well, again, it's possible. Dahaka is very strong. I think it's possible we see something like an Artanis, so they might hold on to that for later. They do take Johanna and Chromie. Chromie probably the strongest mage right now in terms of she has wave clear, she has poke, she doesn't run out of mana very quickly. It's very easy to hit her W Dragon's Breath. So right now, she can control vision with her level 1 and with the time trap triple from level 4. So again, I would say that Chromie has been pretty contested in the first few weeks here of NGS, but we're going to see our next 2 picks here from Surely We Scale.
Jaina.
Muradin Jaina. So Jaina, again, another one who when people are forced to get close and get hit by her her Winter Blast and her Blizzard, she can really start to pile up damage quickly. And Muradin just a good overall tank. Yes, the Rexar ban comes out, so there must be someone. I think I've heard Ektar can play Rexar, but I could also be talking my backside. I just think I've heard that. The final ban of the game is going to be coming out right now from Surely We Scale.
I think it needs to be the Haka.
Neither team has picked their offlaner, though, and if they feel confident that the opposing team won't play Dahaka, they may leave it up. The Anduin comes out, so they don't want anyone getting pulled out from the puddle or from the Jaina chill. And this is a team with the ability to kind of slow you and kill you. If you're slowed in a puddle and then Muradin hits you with either a Skullcracker or a Stormbolt, you're dying in that puddle. Low blow is a must-take for Stukov, and if you get below half health, you're melting. But not the Artanis, we see the Stukov. Boo Hoku. Boo. Everyone
I
boo
like the
Hoku.
Deckard pick. Lornado can get a lot of value on the control point as well as on the capture points.
And later in the game, if he goes to stay a while and listen alternately, he can really set people up for a free, like, for Sonya to get free aim for her leap. But he can also set up potions prior to them actually, the beacons actually coming online, meaning he can help your team have an advantage before they even need it.
There's the Genji.
The Leoric Genji. Leoric with excellent wave clear. He needs to be careful when the Zerg come, just not to get hit by Banelings, but other than that, his Qs and his auto is very good at clearing out the wave. And Genji will be good for coming up and helping Leoric take people out. So we've got one final pick here. We have a Gatekeeper from Chromie. We have good tank offlane. So we have basically the flex pick here for Arcane 13th. And it's going to be Karazin. We're going to see double healer, hyper carry, Chromie. And this is a team that might look to get aggressive when Genji rotates out of the lane. Early on, I think, just from what I'm feeling, that perhaps this draft favors Surely We Scale in terms of ease of use, but it's going to be a skill matchup.
What do you think Karazin goes? Does he take Cleansing Fist on 16 to counter all the Jaina and Muradin's stuns and slows?
I don't think you can as Karazim, because then Jaina hits you and a Stukov puddle stops you from getting back out. I think you have to go Way of the 100 Fists and try to pressure them away, as opposed to attempting to cleanse your friends out of it, because cleansing your friends out of it, if they're still in the puddle if they're puddled, or they're still in the chill zone or the blizzard zone if they're close to Jaina. So I don't know that that cleanse is necessarily what you need, but I also stand to be corrected. I do think Palm Chromie could have a lot of value if she does in fact get jumped on by a Muradin, because he can chase her all over the map. But 7-sided strike can also help melt Muradin in a team that doesn't have percent health damage.
Facility powering up.
So, first we will introduce the team on the left, Macro Machines. We've got Hoku playing Sonya, Deckard being played by I'm a Burb, Chromie being played by Dark Knight, Karazin being played by Arcane the 13th, and Ratson on Johanna. Memezet unfortunately has disconnected, so we will do the intro for that team, and hopefully we will reconnect soon. Now, there have been some issues with disconnects recently across teams in NGS. My theory, I have no evidence to support this. My theory is that they're testing out the servers for Game Pass so that when all the 8-year-olds come storming in from Game Pass on Xbox, the servers can handle the load, and unfortunately it's DCing people. But let's introduce our red team. Surely we scale.
We have.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, do you want me to do it?
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
We have Stukov being played by Kagamin Len, Lurik by Ektar, Muradin being played by Memezet,
Yep, memes it.
Jaina by Tie-Dye Tights, and Genji being played by Ulysses.
So as we look at these teams, I think point control is going to be easier early game for our red team. I think the rotates will be easier with Genji. They might be a little slower in camp clear, but the blue team's gonna have to dedicate more to the bruiser camp clear. Like Sonya can't do it by herself. Are you gonna send Karazin to help? Are you sending Chromie to help? So again, I think when we think of like who has an easier win condition, I think that's going to fall to Surely We Scale. And Muradin at the very least, and Jaina to a degree both do scale. But I don't think that Macro Machines picked this team willy-nilly. I think they have a plan for it, and maybe I'm just not seeing it come together in my mind. So I look forward. I personally, big Karazim fan, would love to see him pull out some crazy plays with the 7-sided strike, pull out some crazy plays with the ally spell power to turn Chromie into even more of a, instead of hitting like, an ordinary dually truck hitting like an 18-wheeler. So I'm curious to see what their plan is with this double healer setup. But I think it could be a lot of fun. And welcome Death Knight NGS. So, it sounds like we're trying to get a reconnect here for Murden. Right now, he's just a dwarf on a horse. We would like it to be a dwarf on a horse controlled by Memezed, the captain of our red team. Yeah, we don't appear to have any disconnects on our blue team at the moment.
We have Stukov going into the most broken talent in the game, low blow. Feel very strongly about that talent that it should be removed.
A female hamster. I'm a bird. Why are we talking weird French? No, Je m'appelle. That means my name is Madam Hamster. Okay. This conversation got weird. It was probably best that we had it as out of sight for our viewers. Looking at
Looks like we're
talents
back.
quickly, we've got Furious Blow from Hoku Sonya. Now, I've seen Hoku Sonya before. She doesn't always follow up with just W builds. Sometimes she goes Whirlwind. We've got Scroll of Identify, so Scroll of Sealing can stack. We've got Green Karazim instead of Iron Fists. They're going for a 3-2 split here as well, so a Goalkeeper Chromie on the bottom, protected by Deckard and Johanna. They want to pressure Leoric out, and Leoric does not like frequent auto attackers. They can be very frustrating. We have Chromie Vision, Low Blow as per usual, Ossian Renewal, Third Wind, Fingers of Frost, and Agile Dismount on the Genji. And right away, we see a time trap set up to hit Murden. So early on, the pressure is on Ektar to stay alive in that top lane as the 2-3 split, which we don't often see here. But when you do see it, it is usually a double healer comp. And this is going to cause a safer playstyle to start with from our red team. Oh, but the low blow is there. I'm a Burber's taking a lot of damage. He might go down, and he does. He is killed by Jaina. But in return, they kill the Murden, and the Genji goes down from the snipe. And those pre-set up potions meant Ratchet and Dark Knight could just continue to pump out damage, even as Deckard was being kind of pushed out of that fight. So the early lead in that fight to the members of Macro Machines.
Jaina's gonna have to be very much on point because of the stack. Though she's not gonna have 4 members to hit, she's gonna have to scale her quest for her ice block super fast and be very diligent with the way she's using her abilities here.
Karazim is rotated down. Now they're pressuring Memezed off of the point here. He's very low, but the third wind will mean he can come back without having to back or tap. And Genji is trying to decide. Ulysses deciding where he wants to go, although Karazim is also rotating. Hoku starting with the spin with 2 people that lets her heal faster than just with 1. Arcane is here, punching away at Ektar and Ulysses. And we've got 2 heroes from Diablo 3 trying to fight an Overwatch hero and one of their sworn enemies in the Skeleton King Leoric.
Yes, but we all know Overwatch heroes are overpowered.
You're not wrong. So, but here we have the 3v3, and although they won the 3v4, the 3v3, they've actually had to back off. Although Genji is killed in the top lane. Arcane chases him down, and even though he won this earlier, after the tap, the pressure goes back to Macro Machines. Although there is 38% now for Surely We Scale from the beacons. Ratson getting low, and it's quite at this point. Dark Knight also down about a third of her total mana pool. And Ratson is backing, so they're going to lose any sort of ability to capture this shrine for about the next 20 seconds. Ektar manages to stay alive, but the pressure's there. Ulysses is coming back down, so now this is a 2 versus 4 for the time being. I'm a Burb has tapped. Maybe we should refer to him as Madame Hamstre now. He said, Je m'appelle, that's my name. Memezed, there comes the blind, but no damage to finish up, and so the burst from the Chromie not able to help them out there. The Ruby from Deckard, meaning, oh, Tie-Dye takes so much damage, it goes down. Oh my goodness, the damage. And again, Stukov has to stand still for this, meaning he takes so much damage from the Chromie when he goes to pop his puddle. And now it's a 3v3, but again, Memezed has to wait for the third wind to kick in and give him his health back. So for a moment, the breathing room is on the side of Macro Machines as they've pulled out a bit of an unusual composition and they've rattled their opponents.
Ektar can do literally nothing but soak the top lane. If he even tries to step on the point, they just go for the structures. If he goes for to defend to soak the lane, they cap the point. They really have put him in a bind.
Wow, and then even, again, the 4v5 here, they're not respecting the damage this Chromie can lay out. Now he was caught in the time trap. He manages to jump out and is not killed. He's down to 500 health. There's a lot of damage on Ratson, though. Amaburb not able to help, and now Dark Knight and Amaburb have no peel and have to back off, giving Beacon control back to Surely We Scale. But they're basically equivalent, 36 to 38%. But it's not just Verdun, it's also Genji, and Arcane 13 is going to have to get out if he wants to stay safe. They're actually trying to keep them busy for the time being, as Memesit is almost completely and they don't do a ton of damage to Karazim in this case, but they are going to have to push them off, and now both beacons are in the hands of Surely We Scale as level 7s come in for both teams. Ratson is back from death. They're going to try and grab Kagamine Len. He's almost but he does manage to put the puddle down there. There is a contest on the point, and back again, the top is captured by Hoku, we see on the minimap there. This fight just continues, and again, Dark Knight is just hitting people left and right, just sniping people with these Chromie abilities, and feeling brave enough to just walk up to Memezet here, but she can't face Tie-Dye Tights as well as Ulysses on that Genji. Ulysses has to E out, so that ability is down. Ratson putting pressure on Tie-Dye Tights. They're going to capture the bottom and try to get to around 70% themselves here. This 2-3 is working better than I would have expected.
During this whole time.
Top wall is down to the pressure of Sonya Karazim. And again, there's a two-man rotate. Memezet and Ulysses have come up to support Ektar's Leoric. So this 3-2 has worked. It has rattled their opponents, and they're finding ways to rotate it. They picked good characters to help them rotate, but it hasn't helped them sustain pressure.
The other thing that we're going to see is if Macro Machines are able to take the Zerg, with them having Genji, they are going to struggle to clear it.
Jaina not terrible at it, but again, the moment Ektar is alone, that fight starts. Now, Ratson is quite low, but Stukov so far forward in that fight. Here comes the time trap against both the DPS, so Chromie can again just snipe. Kagamine Len does manage to capture the top, but once again, Ulysses and Memezet are going to have to go top. They literally are going to get a lot of air miles in this game, and it seems like Ratson and Hoku, they're just paying attention to where these two extra members are, and it's giving the opportunity to just recapture the point. Slowing Sands is taken for Chromie at level 8, and they do have about a quarter of a level lead. Hitting 10s first, they might be able to win another 3v4 when these members rotate out. Ektar is going to go down, even though they're outnumbered. There's not enough damage early from the Leo and Genji and Muradin combo here, and those fists are, like, there's not enough CC, and the fists are letting Arcane just stay healthy, even in a 3v2. This is not something I'd considered, but it actually seems like the Transcendence fists are the best choice here, and that is shocking to me as Ektar comes back to life in the top lane. And now we have the safe rotate as the members of Macro Machines have gained 10. We see Wrath of the Berserker, so no leap. There is 7-sided strike, stay a while and listen, and Blessed Shield from Joanna. So they're going to keep the 3 here to block the 66% Zerg wave from Surely We Scale, but Surely We Scale is going to send their entire team top to try and stop Arcane and Hoku from pushing the 100% Zerg wave. Again,
look at some of the talents that we have taken here. We have Scroll of Identify as well as Kanai's Cube on the bot lane, being just adding extra damage that Decker can dish out every now and again, and lowering the damage that they have available. Plus, you have the Transcendence as well as Earth Ally. So even if they ever do get in, Transcendence is going to heal Hoku where she wouldn't normally have that healing and just block all the auto attacks unless they focus fire that thing down as soon as it pops out.
Yes, it seems like some very wise talent choices here from Macro Machines. They really know their heroes well. 10's now coming in for Surely We Scale. They've got the Flailing Swipe on Stukov, Entomb, Avatar, X-Strike, and Jaina has yet to choose. Now, there's not a ton of
we
outside
see an invade
CC.
on the bottom left.
How hard are they going to go for this? They did get the top fort up here. Now the slowing sands comes out. Ulysses takes so much damage. They still managed to steal that, but now Kagamine Len needs to get out before he dies. The rotate down from Hoku and from Arcane 13. So much damage. Here comes the Ring of Frost. It does catch Deckard Cain, but Stukov is dead. Deckard follows shortly after to Ulysses. Tie-Dye Tights is caught in that sand and goes down as well. This is a 3 for 2. The top fort is down, and even though they stole that camp, it may not have been worth it for what they lost. They have no gate on the bottom side. Their fort is down on the top. And now Sonya is free to take the top camp without having to worry about any sort of invade whatsoever. Arcane and Dark Knight are going to put pressure on Memezed here to try to put even damage on this bot fort, and that's going to be permanent damage. The only
Now, do you switch lanes here? I believe you send Arcane and Hoku down bottom and let your 3-man pressure top.
I almost wonder if you move to a 4-man, 1-man now that you have that advantage. If your 3v4 was winning, a 4v4 might actually put even more pressure on them, and it might give you the opportunity to invade. Both teams just looking to make sure that the boss isn't being taken. Toki, thanks for the rating party of 10. Appreciate the support, my dude. Hope your cast was awesome. So, Surely We Scale takes their bruisers without any contest. On the top side, this bruiser camp was at completely full health, but the rotate is coming. Ektar does have Entomb now, and Hoku does not have Leap. She's not able to get out of this. It's going to be a 5v1. There's the silence, there's the root, and Hoku is dead. Arcane the 13th, without a really clever play, he's going to have a hard time getting out of here. He jumps to Ektar, and that is cleverly played. The top beacon will be collected by Surely We Scale. They have not cleared this, however, and it's still a fairly healthy camp. Arcane jumping there as the rest of the team rotates bottom. This will be a 4v3, but this was not a problem for Macro Machines before. Their 3-man very strong. That chroma damage, unbelievable, as Jaina almost dies from it. Ratson fighting memes at it on the point as they have a wet noodle fight. A stun after the sleep. I think that really only hit 2. The time trap kept 2 again. Tie-Dye Tights is dead in the 4v3. There's a root.
Snipe!
The root there on the Ulysses, and Genji does not like having his mobility cut down. The heal there from the air ally makes it much stronger, and now it's a 5v3 on the bot lane with the strength of the rotate we have from Macro Machines. Now Ektar is able to recapture the top, but the pressure is once again all on the members of Surely We Scale as they're losing a fort for nothing. There's nothing they can do. Genji can't push them back. Stukov is afraid to stand still with a puddle to push them back. They're just going to have to let this go down. Now Ektar is rotating down, and Entomb has a very short cooldown, so it is up again. Ratson has put himself in a bit of a risky position, but the puddle doesn't quite hit. Blowing Sands comes out to try to make that engage stronger. The 7-sided comes, but there's 2 members in it, so it doesn't do very much. There is an Entomb on Ratson, and the silence and the root coming out, and they do have a Wombo burst combo that they want, and it's Entomb into the octopus face. But Jaina is killed in return. This team knows how and when to aggress. Hoku recaptures the top, but Ulysses coming to capture it back. It's a 3v3 on the bottom, as once again, the trade was 1 for 1. Arcane now taking a lot of damage, and again, one of the hard things for Karazim is being silenced. You do not want to see that puddle. You become much weaker without it. Oh, good unstoppable by Ektar there.
That was like right unstoppable.
Hoku has recaptured the top while this is going on. There's the silence, and Karazim is going to go down this time.
Sonya is getting massive value in the top lane.
Well, she's able to push out, and they do have now about a 3/4 of a level lead, but it looks like there's going to be at least a 2-person rotate to the top lane for the beacon and to put pressure, on this Sonya, who no longer has her monk ally. So both beacons are now under the control of our red team, and they are up 50% to 0. Remember, even if you lose the beacons, you do get an 18% Zerg wave to push for your side, even if you collect nothing. Ektar taking a fair amount of damage here, and he is not the main tank for this team, so it's interesting that they've rotated. Hoku takes a lot of damage. The Avatar comes out. Ulysses poking, and the E comes out, and Hoku is dead.
They need to keep finding those picks. If they find a Macro Machines split where they're not 3-2, I think that's where their advantage lies.
An excellent stasis there by the Chromie, but it still puts her in position to get caught by this puddle, and she's killed also. And this big entomb into Ring of Frost with the silence in the middle is being excellently played by Surely We Scale. They have scaled into their level 10 abilities, and they are doing work with it. Now, Arcane did take Way of 100 Fists, and he's just looking to interrupt this rotate, not allowing Memezed to get on his horse and capture the top, but Ulysses does have that in hand. In the bot lane, there's a re-engage, but Chromie's dead. There is no damage to follow this up, and it seems like Macro Machines has just realized and they have to give up these beacons, so it's 36% to 100%. Now, they do have a fort to protect themselves with a full gate, whereas the red team will have to defend a much smaller wave, and it is going to have to walk down here. We have another pause here, as Johanna has now disconnected. We have lost Ratson, and we are hoping to see him return to the game. So, Icon, do you think that these turnarounds and fights, now the levels are equal, do you think that the entire tide of the battle, of the game has changed? Do you think it's possible that Surely We Scales is in control now? Or do you think this is just sort of a blip in the overall control that Macro Machines has had up till now?
I think it's going to be how quickly are they able to defend this Zerg wave, and how much does this Zerg wave get done? Because if they're able to even out structures, it's anybody's game right now.
Absolutely, and this can be a snowballing map, so even the fact that Surely We Scale has been able to come back in it this way and have such control with those wombo combos of ultimates, it's been really fantastic. It looks like our Johanna has returned. Ratson is here. They're going to rotate to the top because Sonya and Karazim are not the best at clearing. They're not bad. They're just not the best. They're going to want to take out these Guardians first. The Ultralisks look imposing, but they don't do nearly as much damage as these Guardians from StarCraft 1. Not available as units in StarCraft 2.
I don't know much about StarCraft.
Ektar is going to put down the Entomb, but then in the immediate stasis to prevent the Ring of Frost. There's so much damage on I'm a Bird, but he's managed to tank it so far. Genji is being hit by the tower. He's going to want to get out because his E is already down. He manages to take a flip, but the pull in by the Johanna means he is dead. And Twilight Tides is looking extremely low. Ratson's going to try and flashlight. It's not enough to take the life of Jaina, but Memezed also to back up. Oh, the jump in by Arcane and the pull in! And that's going to be the end as well for Stukov. Now, Memezed is a very tanky character, but Chromie is a very damage-heavy mage. And Hoku, finishes off the tank. And there is still some of the Zerg wave. A small number of Hydralisks are still pushing, even though the wave is considered to be at 0%. So, with that follow-up teamfight win, Macro Machines is going to go for the boss in this lane, in the middle here. And it is likely to go, let's see, it is likely to go to the bottom lane because that gate has taken less damage. And the boss tends to go to whatever lane is... I'm wrong. It's going top. I thought the boss always went to whatever lane was strongest, like the Immortals do, but in BOE, but that's not true. It is coming to this top lane. Level ahead...
How that works?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I don't know how the boss picks the lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I did, but I am wrong. So there's a route there from the 16 for Jaina. There, and the red team has sent 3 to come and defend this, but it also looks like Memezed is going to try to jump on Dark Knight. Good, slowing Sands, and 7-sided strike comes out. There's the sleep on Jaina, and she goes down. She did just get her ice block a few moments ago, and she managed to get out of the 7-sided, but it wasn't enough. They blew her up right after. The air ally comes out for that spell attack, but I'm not sure Chromie's in range of it. She should be a little further to... like down and to the west here to get in that, and it's down now. The boss does take down Keep. I would want to hit 20 first if it were me, but it is a 5v4. Now, if they can get another kill, they can end this. Memezed does get pulled in. The puddle comes down. I'm a Burb has to back up, but so does Dark Knight. They put a ton of damage on Ektar. Oh my goodness, and he goes down even as he tries to get to safety. Genji is attempting to deflect damage back on this boss, but
they do have 2 healers.
It is charging through this Keep. Hoku smashing on the Keep. It's down to 30%. It's down to 20%. It is down to 10%. They can't kill his boss fast enough. It is 0. Game 1 goes to Macro Machines, even with that blip of a team fight loss. We have a Macro Machines Game 1 GG.
If I'm not mistaken, that's their first map win of the season.
We're going to have a quick look at the game summary here, and I might leave this up to our our good friend Icon as I find out from the teams where we're going next. So, Icon, if you want to take us through the talents and the summary here, that would be excellent.
So we have Deckard leading the way with healing with 60k, followed by Stukov, and then look at Karazim. Karazim putting out 47,000 healing, so combined over 100,000 healing from the two healers. A lot to get through, and it just doesn't seem like the damage. I mean, you have Leoric leading the damage at 38,000. They just weren't able to pump the damage numbers that they need. The Jaina damage was considerably lower, but that's not to be. I mean, that's to be expected when she pretty much got deleted 6 times. Um, the talents here, as I noticed before, I really did enjoy seeing some of the tech talents taken with Scroll of Identify. I believe that did get 15 stacks. We have her Roderick staff taken as well, so even if they did get in, the Genji did get in. He did get whacked and stunned, but yeah, it was curious to see that we didn't have Leap. Leap could have got him gotten Hoku out of out of trouble a few times. Also, could have been a great follow for Blessed Shield. But still, Wrath of the Berserker did work. Um, and Genji took a normal Genji build. Cyber Shield. Okay, that's a good tech talent. Um, yeah, it was well played by Macro Machines here with a final kill of 17-8. Um, it was more than I would have expected out of a double healer comp.
Yeah, this was really excellent. Now, Hoku did not take our Tannis, and we in fact did say we have to boo Hoku. She had a chance to take our Tannis on a 2-lane map, um, and she didn't take it. So I don't know. I think we have to give her a bit of a hard time when she comes out. If they win, we need to bring her into the interview and ask her why she really left her heart behind. And Taro Tassadar.
Whose map pick was that?
That map tick belonged to our blue team.
So that map was Macro Machines' map to
Machine
choose.
chose that map, yes, which reminds me.
So they went in with this strategy in mind.
They did. They knew what they wanted.
So I was wrong. A 4-1 split. If with the right damage, right tank, and right healer, you can do a 3-2 right healers. I should say you can definitely pull off a 3-2 split there.
And I think
I mean,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sonya with a healer is really hard to take down.
Well, I think this is a game that other members of Div B West are going to want to see and review. This is a tactic, a technique you're going to have to be ready for. You're going to have to plan for this because it's hard. Even though they picked good characters for it, it was hard for Surely We Scale to constantly have the right number of people in each lanes. And Murid and Genji, as much as they're great at ganking, they weren't able to do the kind of CC or damage that stopped Arcane's Transcendent Fist, which it's probably considered the weakest Karazim level 1 talent at the moment. But it just did so much work. And then oh, sorry, that wasn't Spirit Ally, that was Earth Ally. But just the work that was being done by Arcane, so confident, so comfortable on this Karazim, just great to see.
So, Karazim Transcendence really is weak, and when you're looking at it as a solo healer for 5 people. But what he did was he looked at it as a solo healer for 2 people. And in that case, it's really not that bad. You're only being asked to heal you and one other person, and Sonya is not like she's a piece of paper herself. She can handle her own. So it really was hard for them to get any headway in the top lane. And the moment that they started rotating up to try to get that headway, they just started losing bottom lane even harder.
We do have a captain restarting, in the hopes that they don't DC again. Hopefully they can move people around here. go. Alright, did they tell me who chose this map? Okay. So this time the map choice is all track pass, and it is... Oh my goodness, I'm showing the lobby and I should not be. Whoopsie doodle. Please forgive me, teams. Whoopsie. So, we do have all track pass, and this map was chosen instead by Surely We Scale. So they're going to give up first pick to Macro Machines this time.
So heroes that are prioritized on this map: Anubarak because of the beetle cheese, Junkrat, Chromie again because of just controlling the choke points, the hallways. Hanzo gets really good value here. Anybody that can clear a camp really fast, because this map has the lowest spawn rate of a camp with spawning every minute, 2 minutes. So if you can consistently be taking that camp and forcing that down mid lane, you'll see a lot of teams literally be on that camp at the 1 minute mark, at the 3 minute mark, and so on and so forth. It's all about macro play on this map. So let's see, what do you think that the teams are going to go this way?
Well, there's a lot of characters. Samuro can be really useful in capturing the objective camp. Anubarak can be really useful in letting his beetles fight the things while he captures. So if you want to get clever, there are definitely ways to be strong here. The both bosses are neutral on this map, so if you can find yourself with the lead, sometimes you can ignore the objective, take a boss. So say the objective is in the top, you can take top boss, rotate, get bottom boss while the first team defends top boss, and then while they're fighting bottom boss and rotate it away from the objective, come back and take objective. So there's a lot of opportunities to go macro. I believe that the siege camp in this one, what are they called? They're not Khazra. They're the, what Hogger is. Knoll. The Knoll camp is one of the strongest and fastest respawning ones on this map, but we are going to
Yes.
jump into the draft here.
Now, we saw a Falstad ban in the first map. Do you think that Falstad either gets banned again or makes it through? Because boss points, Falstad can be game changing with Gus.
Unless neither of these teams played a Hawkeye, I expect to be banned or picked. He's incredibly strong on this map with race car build. There's bushes all over the place. I think Falstad is good. I would actually argue Falstad's not amazing on this map. Just because he doesn't really do a lot that helps objective specifically. Whereas I think
Okay,
the
there's
Hawk
the
can be incredibly
Junkrat.
strong. So the Junkrat is the first ban. But yes, globals are strong because this map is huge. And wave clear is a premium on this map. You want your offlaner, Blaze, Dahaka, Leoric, whoever it is. Your wave clear might be forced to double soak for a little bit. You need someone who can soak, or at least someone who can distract. So you can go Murky, Viking, Samuro on this map if you want to play more macro. Ooh,
A
somebody
Zeratul ban.
plays Zera, and it's being gotten rid of. Now, this is a good map for Zeratul. Again, there are a lot of bushes. There's a lot of space in between lanes, and Zeratul can absolutely ruin someone's rotate, even early on, but he can be deadly post-16.
If I do recall, Arcane plays a lot of Zeratul.
While seeing his Karazim, I would think his Zeratul might be strong as well. We've got our second ban coming from Macro Machines. They will ban the Chromie. Interesting. They're not looking to prioritize it in their first pick, so they want to get rid of it. So we gotta wait. Again, if I don't see Dahaka banned here, I expect it to be in the first 5 picks. I don't expect to make it to the second ban unless nobody on either of these teams plays it. And I'm gonna be honest, if nobody on either team plays Dahaka, these people need to find someone who does, because he is the strongest offlaner at the moment.
For the time being, he is getting nerfed.
The Vala ban again, so there's somebody on Macro Machines that Surely We Scale does not want to see their Vala. And again, Dark Knight was hitting Chromie Blasts pretty easily, so I imagine his Vala could be something to be scared of too. So we are up 1-0 for Macro Machines at the moment. This is game 2 between these two teams in Div B East. And Anduin is the first pick for I'm a Burb. A great all-around healer. There are a fair number of walls and wall segments in places of this map, so Anduin can have good value on this map. Maybe not quite as high as something like Garden of Terror or Cursed Hollow, but Anduin's always a good pick. The Sonya's
Sonya
just side.
Sylvanas. That is a lot of push power if they do win an objective.
So that's a very sibilant side for Surely We Scale. Yes, 2 S's for the Sonya for Ektar and Tie-Dye Tights on the Sylvanas. A lot of push pressure and decent rotates. We're going to see Johanna played again by Ratson. His Johanna was pretty good last time. And the Zagara, where we're looking at the old specialist class from back in the day. Zagara's wave cleared. Dahaka has not been picked yet. Neither offlaner has been picked. My mind is blown, stream. My mind is blown.
Zagara, if she gets the late game, her summons can eat you alive.
So Nidus Zagara on this map can basically take there's the Dahaka ban.
There's a Dahaka ban.
Nidus Zagara can basically become Samuro on this map. Just spread creep everywhere, jump from lane to lane to lane, constantly pressure, constantly push out. And it's more than enough to push back Sylvanas, but it also is very vulnerable. If she's not on creep, Zagara dies. It's just as simple as that. She's a low health pool. She has no innate escape abilities. So if she out-rotates you, you're going to lose a building. If you out-rotate her, she becomes a lot weaker. The Diablo ban comes out, which, again, for Zagara is a very good thing. After 16, the charge into wall, flip, charge again is almost enough to kill Zagara from full health.
There's the Anubarak for the Anubarak cheese.
So Anubarak and Rhaegar, also very good picks. They can help you take a camp. Rhaegar can basically do the camp here almost on his own. Not at level, 2, but he can. So it's a very well-rounded team comp on the side of Surely We Scale. Now we're going to see the Blaze. Probably one of the best offlaners besides Dahaka, so a very good choice here. And the final pick is going to be the flex pick again, Arcane the 13th. What clever hero is he pulling out this time? He will play the Falstad, so the global advantage will go to Macro Machines, as they are good to their name. Zagara, Falstad are not going to give you the world's best team fights. That's just a fact. But they are going to pull you all over the map when played well. And it looks like we've got some Mama fans, some Macro Machines people cheering in the chat. They are up 1-0, so they feel your Spirit Bomb energy. And the Hanzo. So we've got a team on the right that has drafted for teamfight, who has drafted to win the central objective, maybe win a boss, and then push with Sylvanas, with Hanzo doing lots of burst. On the left-hand side, the Macro Machines has a strong macro build. They have some characters who can cause delays on the objective, but then just have either Zagara or Falstad pushing. So we have 2 different styles of game. Let's see who comes out on top. We're looking at Game 2 between Macro Machines and Surely We Scale. Now, seeing as it was Surely We Scale who chose this map, do you think they have a plan to deal with this kind of macro pressure, or this wave and lane pressure from Macro Machines, or do you think they're surprised by what they saw, Icon?
I don't think they're surprised at all. These picks are pretty much what Macro Machines are known for. I think that they're going to fight in these hallways. They're going to poke them out with Hanzo. I expect to see a Hanzo arrow. And I think it's going to go Anubarak dive, Sonya leap, Hanzo arrow, Sylv silencing arrow, into dead.
And the Wombo is definitely a possibility. They showed some strength for that last match. So, on the blue side, defending the Dwarves, we have Blaze playing Hoku, Arcane the 13th playing Falstad, I'm a Burb on Anduin, Dark Knight on Zagara, and Johanna playing Ratson for Macro Machines. Can you introduce our red team, Icon?
Yes, and on the red side, defending the big green guy, we have Anubarak being played by Miemzed, Hanzo being played by Ulysses, Rhaegar being played by Kegamin Len, Sonya being played by Ektar, and Sylvanas being played by Tie-Dye Tights. And we have a cheese going up top, and Hoku is going to go down right off the bat!
The body block keeping her from going back inside on Blaze. Jet propulsion cannot go through heroes, and because of that, she dies, although she does prevent them from getting much value on the gate. And the damage on the gate is permanent. Hoku, on the other hand, has respawned already. And Zagara, on the other hand, has gotten more value from simply not responding, as crazy as that sounds. And again, that's what happens with this kind of macro team comp. We'll have a quick look at the level 1s. We've got Adrenaline Stim Pack for Blaze, as per usual. We've got Hammerang, so Gathering Storm. A Q build for Falstad. We're going to have Corpse Feeder, so we're going to have the E build off of the Infested drop from Zagara. Our word Shield, so the shield on the W from Anduin.
I am
Not
not a
often what
fan.
we see. And Flashlight build from our Johanna. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. We got the Nerubian Spell Armor, which makes sense both, well, yeah, I would say most of the damage from Macro Machines is spell, but not all of it. Both Falstad and Zagar are competent auto attackers. W build from Hanzo, pretty standard, especially with a map with all sorts of walls like this one. We're seeing more pressure in the top lane again. Odin build Rhaegar, auto attack Sonya, and Might of the Banshee Queen. So probably a little bit more of kind of an EQ style Sylvanas. They're looking to gank Ratson here, but he does still have the Iron Skin and walks out as both teams have captured their first camp already. There is about a half quarter level lead for Surely We Scale, and they have selected their level 4s. Interesting. W build
Little
into
side bet here. How many stacks do you think Falstad winds up with on his queue? He's already at 10.
Really depends on the length of the game, but I would say a competent, this tends to go late, this map, I would say about 190 if he does a good job with it. But, oh, he tries to get some free Qs to disrupt the rotate, and he does see the rotate, which saves Hoku's life, I suspect, but they turned that around fast, and if he hadn't had his barrel roll, he would have died. Arcane, do a barrel roll! We see the stacking Censure for Anduin, as once again they rotate to Hoku. Zagara's had to back from the pressure put on. So both teams kind of taking the lane they want to dominate, and here Tie-Dye Tights does proc the black arrow. Arcane getting more Q stacks and putting a lot of pressure on Tie-Dye Tights, but the E does, the Wail of the Banshee Queen? I forget what that ability is called. It does get her out safely. And unstoppably. We're seeing stacking serrated spines on Zagara, often considered the weakest of her level 4s. It is the most fun. There's a dopamine rush for hearing ding, ding, ding every time you auto, and serrated spines gives it to you.
And this is one of the maps for it, because once we start focusing on these control points, she should be in a world of just auto attack the tank over and over and over again.
So Memezed was able to use his beetles to distract the minions, and they're going to get about a 10-second lead on the objective, rescuing the orc on a warg. Whereas over here, there's a dwarf on a ram, both horribly captured in ramshackle cages. How rude. Now, this push is definitely going in the favor. It means that it's just going to try to delay the rotations. Ratson in a bit of a tough spot here. Takes a lot of damage from the Hanzo Q, but pops the Iron Skin and manages to push out. And the full team has responded outside of Hoku still pushing in the top lane. Hanzo going back to respond to this as the entire top gate is gone. So, slight
Hoku doing
advantage.
some nice work.
Slight advantage there. Both teams with pretty clean rotations. Ratson looking to see if there's any chance to grab hold of Tie-Dye Tight Sylvanas, but not at the moment. Memezed attempting to stop the rotation. Now, he did not take Bed of Barbs. He has gone full shield, including Shed Exoskeleton and Chitinous Plating. And no, it is not Chitinous. It is Chitinous. So, Memezed attempts to cheese this again, but he is seen immediately by the members of Macro Machines and not permitted to do so. In the bot lane, Dark Knight. Here, let me do this for you. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, okay, you're bored of that, but still. Dark Knight is having a blast hearing dings. Memezed considering coming in for the gank on Hoku, but no, just goes for the wave instead, giving Ulysses a little more push power here. The camp is
Ektar looks to go down. Yes! Ratson secures the kill.
And again, this global pressure making it easier to take these kills. Memezed gets rooted by the center, and I'm a Bird pushing away with the auto attacks. Now, they did take their camp in the mid, which means they're going to have a lot of pressure on that middle gate. But setting up creep here is Zagara. They're looking to own this area. Brood Mothers don't just drop that for nothing. They do jump at the end when I'm Burb is very alone. He takes a ton of damage. He's healing himself, but he's still going to go down here. The Desperate Prayer, not enough, and he is killed. And they didn't even manage to capture that. The Cocoon and the Arrow, anti-synergistic. Falstad will still go down here from the amount of CC they have, but the Arrow flies off the edge of the map, scaring the daylights out of Drekthar is this one. Who's this guy? I forget.
If we were in EU, that arrow would have wrapped around and hit.
That arrow scares Vandar's wife half to death. She's at home cooking. Or maybe she's doing traditional dwarf female things like combing her beard. They will get the first set of Raiders. Orcs on Wargs coming down every lane. Starring Drekthar and his boys. So, the Black Arrows comes out again. They're prepping this lane already for a fast push in the bot lane. But Hoku is getting a lot of value in the top lane, already taking the top fort down to about half.
Let's see how much value they get out of this objective.
The Dark Arrows is down for the next few seconds, although it doesn't have the longest cooldown. They do try to gank Hoku. Not able to get much value there.
I think it's a mistake not to have somebody in all three lanes.
For which team?
For Surely We Scale.
Gotcha.
Okay, now they are rotating somebody up to...
And again, early on, the objective isn't super duper strong if you use your macro properly, which Macro Machines is. That they got more value without these warriors, without the raiders.
Yes.
Without the Horde Cavalry, as they're known. Although Ektar helping put some damage there. They're looking to gank Ektar, but he's not taking a lot of damage. Arcane is putting a fair amount. That's what half of Ektar's health, but he does get out and tap safely.
Structures are about, I'd say, even, because there's half of one top and then two full ones down bottom mid.
So we do have
Surely We Scale.
We do have 10s in. We've got Bunker, Gust, Light Bomb, Maw. So it will not be the heavy macro. It will be Teamfight Zagara with Maw. She has 30 stacks on the Serrated Spines and has 4 stacks of her Bile Drop and Blessed Shield. So they are looking to go Teamfight heavy, despite the fact that their heroes are not maybe necessarily the strongest of that. Now there is a gank on Ektar again. Hoku, does she have the jet propulsion? She does not at the moment, so Ektar will once again survive. Both camps taken. Meanwhile, we have Cocoon, Dragon's Arrow, Ancestral Healing, Leap, and Wailing Arrow. So like you said at the beginning of the game, Icon, big wombo opportunities for Surely We Scale as they look to take this to a game 3. Cocoon comes out on Johanna, the double root on the back line. Dragon's Arrow once again. Goodbye. And they're not able. The big Maw captures 3. Here comes the Light Bomb. Now there is a silence. The Light Bomb does go down on, but here comes the leap. Ektar jumps in. Verb almost dies, but he's still alive. Hardly.
100 HP.
The Gust provides a huge disengage, and every single ult is down, and no one is dead. Who would have expected that for the first team fight?
Good engage and good counter engage.
And good disengage.
Good disengage, yes.
All the words with gauge in it. They happened. But this is going to give Red Team the priority for rotation, and they're going to try and do a lot more damage to this top fort, as they also have a big wave coming, and the Dark Arrows have just come. Now, Memes almost dies, but now Arcane is in a tough spot as he did barrel roll over, so his escape is down. They're looking to see if they can get value here, but there's no damage helping them, as Arcane did drop back to secure the fort, so it is down to about 20% health. And we've got about a third of the health left on this fort. So, on both sides, fort's taking a lot of damage. Memes does get caught out, does get seen by Arcane. He tries to barrel roll out, but he still gets caught. He's at about a quarter of his health. Hoku gets caught with Cocoon. The unstoppable, the pull is too late. Here comes the Light Bomb on Ratchet. It stuns 2 on the back, but now they're chasing down Burba as Anduin can do nothing but cry and run away. Hoku now getting caught by the CC. Drops the bunker. Is trying to get out. Now trying to get out to the north side. Gets hit by Ektar's spear, though, and is taken down. The top fort goes down while this is happening, But in the bottom, Zagara is going to put a hard push down. Again, having the big bile drops, having strong autos. So once again, now, but it looks also like our red team, surely we scale, is going to go for top boss and look for macro power. And with the top fort gone, this is going to crash straight onto the keep wall.
This is only doable because they have a Nubarak. The play they're making currently. Nubarak to sit on the point with the Beatles.
Well, once it's captured, kind of anyone can do that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're going to push with this while their Horde cavalry come in behind. And so it is a 1-for-1 on buildings. The fort does go down from Zagara's push, but they're going to need one of their 2 damage dealers up here to help defend against this boss with the Raiders coming to back it up. Now, the camp was grabbed mid. Arcane is going to try to push back and see if he can get value here while Zagara helps out with Hydralisks and Banelings. The Raider is down in the mid. The boss is still at about 78%. Ooh, Ektar misses the leap, and nobody is stunned by it. Ratson looking to grab with his Condemn, but not able to.
Arcane going for the Gust play.
But does get caught by Meme Zed. Now, High Tights was taking damage there. There's the Silence Arrow, and then the follow-up arrow by Ulysses kills the Zagara as the top keep goes down. Arcane is defending both the Raider and the boss. Hoku taking a lot of damage from Ektar here as they're playing very aggressively. The Jet Propulsion does get her out.
They're not going to try to end here, are they?
That would be difficult with Vandar still.
No, they can't.
Vandar still having 2 sets of armor, so surely we
I mean, in all honesty, he's already at.
No, with the double
Oh,
armor. But that does give them a chance to go for this mid fort, and they are going to take that down as well with the Beatles supporting this. And if they need it, they can also get the Dark Arrows. Although they almost lost their mid fort, Tie-Dye Tights had to rotate quickly to save this building. There's still a Raider on the bottom, so they also lost their bottom fort. And I think there's a little bit of a missed chance here in the builds of Macro Machines. I think if they had gone Nidus and just continued to push all over the map, kind of force difficult decisions on our red team, but they went with team fight builds, and their comp just isn't as strong as at team fighting in their base kits as the team from Surely We Scale. And if they can't get this game back on the road, we will be seeing a Game 3. Hey, I love Game 3. Casters love Game 3. I don't need my voice tomorrow anyway. Both camps taken, both teams looking to see if they can find someone making a mistake, being out of position. They're both going to scout out the boss. It is still there. But again, Surely We Scale has the advantage as the priority and has the map control to go up first, clear out the wave, and put a pressure directly on their enemy's middle keep. And because the top fort isn't down, it's constant catapult pressure against no catapults. Now, they aren't catapults now, they're Reaver minions. Both teams just having a look here. Memes are coming very close. Hoku and Ratson being very patient. There's the Q. Ratson moves in. They're looking to see if they can get a kill here. Ratson does not throw the Blessed Shield yet. Bunker has gone down. Arcane's still looking at stacks. He's up to 72 so far, so he hasn't been able to stack as well as he was early on. But he has been forced to split push. Here comes the Dragon Arrow, and once again, Vandar's wife, she was in the bathroom, and the arrow is now coming right at her. Man, she just can't get a Knight's Piece anywhere.
They have to be careful. Gust is up.
There's a tremendous wave in the top lane that's going to be pushing directly on the core, and with this pressure, they're going for the boss. We've got 4 here. Hoku is rotating, but Vandar's going to have to clear these out and go. Now, he does still have 2 of his 3 armor shield pieces, meaning he should have 40% armor.
The boss reset.
There's the leash. A good rotate there, a good choice, but Surely We Scale try to force their opponents to maybe respond to the minion wave and then give up the boss. But a good choice making, good decisions by blue team. Are they considering the boss here? Arcane's, I think, considering trying to Q and W down this building, but they don't know where the enemy team is. He is going to come in, and he does take it down, evening up Reaver pressure in the mid lane. Memesid once again looking to use that Anub to cheese the camp. He's going to take some damage from Arcane's lightning and hammers. His hammerang. And all ults are up for both teams again. Hoku is backing off to help Vandar with another big wave. I'm not sure this is the time. Ulysses trying to capture, but the
I think
flashlight for
Anduin's
Ratson.
dead.
I'm a Bird was caught on the bottom. He does use Light Bomb. It does go off, and I'm a Bird is somehow managed. Oh, the Dragon Arrow! It finally hits somebody. Out comes the Silence Arrow, but that hits nobody. Tie-Dye Tights is taking a lot of damage. They can't get past the Maw. Oh, the Blessed Shield misses. And now Tie-Dye Tights is back at full health from the Ancestral Healing. Ratson gets jumped on by Mimza, and Ektar jumps in as well. He's trying to get off Iron Skin, but it's already gone, and he is going to be blown up. Another team fight win from the Wombo Ultimates. And now they are going to go for this bottom boss while Anubrak captures the 50-second long capture time of the Reaver camp. Dark Knight is taking the camp here, and because Shirley with Scale is taking boss, she should be safe here. But 20s have come out for Shirley with Scale. Rewind on a new Bullseye, so the stun from Hanzo as Falstad recapture this. Farseer's Blessing, so AoE double proc Ancestral, Ignore Pain from Sonya, and Bolt of the Storm. So little more between Will of the Forsaken and Bolt of the Storm on Sylvana. She now has a ton of mobility, which makes her very hard to kill. And Bolt of the Storm might simply be because she couldn't get past them all last time. They're capturing this keep, and they can't Macro Machines can't really push back until they hit 20 themselves. They just have now. We see Censure from Anduin, Blessed Shield upgrade. We see the Pack Instinct Hydralisk upgrade, Wind Tunnel, and the Bunker, Fortified Bunker upgrade from Hoku. They've been
Our summons are going to start chunking now.
They've done a good job with this boss, though. They lost a little bit of the gate, but nothing else. Now, Arcane does have the back for Mana. He is completely and the Raiders are coming in. The Horde Cavalry are coming in. Red team is looking for a bit of a gank at this bot lane, seeing if there would be anyone pushing out with the minions. But Macro Machines are being wise now. They know their only hope is to defend this Raider camp, and maybe get a big fight, killing 2 or 3 members of the opposing team. And then
they do have Wind Tunnel. Here
comes the flyover. There's the Wind Tunnel. It does catch Rhaegar. He is going to go down. There's the Maw. Oh,
but the anti-synergy, the Maw!
Whoa! The light does come out, but here comes the Farseer's Blessing. Rhaegar is full health again. The pull cannot save Johanna's. Ratchet goes down. Hoku gets pulled out of Bunker and killed. And there's only 2 members on this team left. And the Raiders are just starting to hit now. It seems like Arcane forced the beginning of that team fight, but they just weren't ready yet to fight that. And it was a 3 for nothing.
Their kill target. They mowed the Rhaegar and saved his life!
Unfortunate. Now 2 Raiders here. The Cocoon on the Zagaros. They can't defend it. Vandar is going down fast. It looks like the Dwarves are going to lose to the Orcs today. And for the Horde! This series is tied at 1. GG. Game to Shirley We Scale. We will once again give over our game summary to Icon as we get ready for game number 3.
So we're gonna look at Blaze doing all the structure damage, like in the world, and then leading our damage is Hanzo, played by Ulysses here, with some great scatter arrows. Probably some little bit of discipline on sending those dragon arrows, but the one that he nailed changed the game in their favor for the good. Arcane bringing up for Macro Machines with 42k. 41k on Falstad, and Zagara. How many dings did Zagara have? It does not show me.
No, you can't see dings in the post game. But...
I can't see dings in the post game.
But let's be fair, guys. Zagar got to hear dings all game, and isn't that really how you win?
I wasn't a fan of Power Word Shield at 1. Not like it would have mattered because she went into double pool. But sorry. I did like the Wombo combo that they did have. And then they went into it hard. The Wind Tunnel was a fair good play. It almost worked, but you can't maul your kill target.
Yeah, not quite enough good communication there. Now, we do have game number 3 will be fought on Battlefield of Eternity, which was good lord, which was chosen by Macro Machine. So another 2-lane map that involves smart rotations, and they can still use the double healer 2 3 split on this map that they utilized in Braxis. And so far, looking at our map of 3 board here, we see that whoever has chosen the map has won the game. So,
Yes, that's quite interesting, actually.
as we get everybody in here, we see that there was a, yes, picked map, BOE chosen by Macro and they win it. Alterac, the opposite of BOE, or sorry, the opposite of Braxis, a huge macro-based map. And they played it perfectly, but they didn't play the macro style. They just chose a powerful style and won it there. And now, again, we see a small fight-based map. I have to expect both teams this time are going to pick their best racing fighting comps.
Do we see Artanis?
One hopes so. I think all of us now are hoping we see Hoku's Artanis. She does love the character, but it is also game 3 of a very, very tight series. She might pick Artanis if she thinks it's her best chance to win, but she's not going to pick it for fun if she thinks she can go farther on, say, Blaze or Dahaka.
Whoever has had the Sonya has won.
That's been true too. Sonya has been a very good pick, although I think we saw a lot more value from the Sonya when she had Leap than when she had Wrath of the Berserker. Although this is a map where you can get more value from Wrath of the Berserker in the race. So in this map, we tend to see Chromie, Li Ming as mages because they are good at race and good at poke. We tend to see Raynor, Vala, although Vala has been banned both games. And sometimes you see things like Gul'dan, Zul'jin, but you can also
Hanzo.
see really interesting comps on this map. Again, one that I love to run, and like I like to see get run, is the Uther Kharazim double healer with Greymane, and with Kharazim and Greymane, you have a bunch of percent health in your ultimates, and if you can isolate a target and blow them up, you can just really, really push a team out of the immortal fights. So sometimes teams will have a specific build just for this map because they know there's going to be fights. They know there are going to be these matchups. They have to decide if they want to control defense of Belith or Ilarion, whoever their immortal is, or if they just want a straight race and use poke to push the enemy team away. So there's a little bit of thinking going on from our teams here. We're getting late into the evening. Do they scale across games? They sure hope so. And I think their opponents are hoping that the scaling has stopped and has peaked at Game 2, and they're on equal footing for Game 3. Anything interesting you think, besides Artanis, might come out in Game number 3 here from either Team Icon?
I think it's going to come down to the bruiser play. I think you might see something like, you know what's really good on this map? Zone control. And what provides good zone control that comes from the bruiser? Earthquake. Let's see a Thrall. I want to see a green Jesus.
Thrall is very, very strong. He also plays for the Horde. In the Horde one last map.
Is there anything you'd like to see?
Ektar and Hoku are both important members of the NGS community, pretty high up there. So I think whoever loses this game is banning the other members. That is not real. That is a caster joke. Don't quote me on that. But yes, we're hitting R's for everyone. Make sure they know the casters are R. We've got R's from both teams. We should be popping into the draft right away here. 3, 2, 1. First pick will be on the side of Surely We Scale.
I'm so glad that we're going to a game 3. These teams deserve a game 3. We saw domination from both teams on their said map, and what better map to bring it to than a team fight map such as Battlefield?
Both teams deserve Game 3, baby. These fans deserve Game 3. These casters deserve Game 3. Let's go hard. That's what the NGS is all about. All right.
A Vala ban to start.
The instant Vala ban. I'm assuming that's for Dark Knight, and they really, really do not want to see it, and it's a great ban on this map. So now Hoku gets to choose what she doesn't want to see. I think we're going to see all Artanis counters banned here. FP Artanis, amateur opponent, Hog, Wild. The Hanzo ban. That was very skillfully played by Ulysses last game. So this is 1-1 in this best of 3 series. Last game wins. The last 2 games, they don't count, ladies and gentlemen. This last one, this is the only one that matters.
The Johanna ban.
Johanna
Okay, Johanna's really good at delay.
I thought Johanna was really good in game 1. I thought Rats and Johanna struggled with pressure in game 2. With the incredible amount of crowd control from the Rhaegar and the Anubarak and the Sonya Leap. So we'll have to see Ratson for the first time on a different tank this series.
What do we see coming out of Fairly We Scale?
Well, they won last map, and so they got to so the Macro Machines got to choose. So first pick was given to them. They're gonna see what they want to take first. Li Ming, excellent, excellent. And with Chromie banned, there's not really an answer to what she can do, like that kind of in crazy range with Hanzo banned as well. I would say your best mage pick here at this point is probably Gul'dan. We see Diablo Sonya. They go
build the wall.
immediately for the heavily aggressive. And again, we're looking probably, I'm guessing, at Leap Fire Breath or Leap Apocalypse. I'd like to see a Leap Apocalypse, but I think the timing for that would be very hard to pull off. I've never seen
I'd like to
Ratson's
see
Diablo.
Fairly We Scale take Anduin right here, just to prevent a Diablo or Sonya Light Bomb charge.
That makes sense. I thought I'm a Burb's polls were a little late last game.
There's the Anduin, and there's
Anduin
Garrosh.
Garrosh. Now, Stukov wasn't banned. So I wonder if that's something we see come out from I'm a Burb this time. A little bit late
Could
on the
be.
polls last game, but again, there was so much CC and so much pressure. It's
They
so
need
hard.
to ban an auto attacker here.
It's so hard to kill Garrosh, and a Garrosh with Anduin healing is a nightmare to deal with. And Garrosh, as our friend Faint often says, Garrosh is one of the few tanks that can ruin Diablo's days. Diablo does not like seeing Garrosh, so we'll see if Ratson is able to play around this.
You know, what I've learned from playing with, I don't want to do no shoutouts, but what I've learned with playing with somebody, a good counter to Garrosh is a well-played Rainer, and he fits perfectly on this map.
Another great option is the Tychus, but they ban it away themselves, even though they have Nest picked, so they must not have somebody that they're comfortable playing Tychus into this Garrosh, and now his armor is going to be a huge problem, unless they pick the Zul'jin or something along those lines.
You said it backwards. Macro Machines banned the Tychus so that he wouldn't shred the Diablo.
No, but they banned it, and now he can't shred the Garrosh, and they can't pick him now. Garrosh's
True.
armor doesn't matter at all to the percent health damage there. But Lenara gets banned on the other side. Her ability to control vision
El'Thuzad!
And Stukov. So now we're seeing Wombo pick from Macro Machines. They want Leap. They want Apoc. They want probably the Ice Ultimate from Kel'Thuzad, and they want Puddles. They don't want Anduin, Li Ming. They don't want people getting away from what they can do. And I would be shocked if we don't see Leap from Hoku this game. If she goes Wrath of the Berserker, she will be purely on race and not a huge member of the team fights. Well, you called
the
it,
Green
you got it.
Jesus.
And in fact, that's going to be a 4-man thrall, as the Haka will be the offlaner, and he is incredibly strong, but he can struggle a bit into Sonya. Her ability to just super aggressively attack can make the Haka's life hard if he can't get to the minions to build up his passive stacks, his regeneration. The final pick of the game is, once again, Arcanes. Are they going to go double healer? They're going to support the Sonya again in the offlane with the Karazim, who can be very strong here.
No, they're going to go Zul'jin.
They take race. Now, Kel'Thuzad isn't the greatest racer in the world, but he does have the opportunity to a lot of control. This triple front line, I think, is going to be hard for Kel'Thuzad. I don't know they have the peel to keep him happy, healthy, and alive, but Arcane has shown pretty well so far. So as we go into game number 3, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 between Macro Machines and Surely We Scale. Oh, well, everyone in chat, tell me who you think's gonna win. Looking at both these comps, again, it's hard for me to bet against a Garrosh and a Li Ming on this map. Thrall is also good at race, and of course Zul'jin is amazing, but Zul'jin and Kel'Thuzad need a lot of space, in my opinion. A lot of space decent amount of peel, Diablo can't always give you that. Stukov really helps, but I really think the easier comp to execute is going to be the one on the right side of the map under Surely We Scale. But let us introduce
I
our teams.
disagree.
Well, let's do our intro, and then
I,
you can give me your opinion there, Icon. So, in the blue, we've got Macro Machines. Hoku on Sonya, like she was in Game 1. Arcane the 13th on Kel'Thuzad, as he was topped by OG Tunnel Snake. Dark Knight on Zul'jin. Ratson on Diablo, and I'm a Burb playing Stukov.
and on Surely We Scale, we have Anduin being played by Kegamin Len, Garrosh being played by Miyamzed, Dahaka played by Ektar, Thrall played by Ulysses, and Li Ming played by Tie-Dye Tights. So I think that the burden of execution is on the right side with Garrosh into Dahaka. Like, they don't have a wombo combo in the sense they have target delete. And it's going to be, they're not target deleting with an auto attacker, they're target deleting with a Li Ming who needs to hit the skill shots, needs to make sure she's on point, needs to make sure she's saving her cooldowns for whenever the throw happens. It's a 2v3 up top. Oh, look at this.
Well, it's a 2-3 split again, but this time in favor of Surely We Scale. But Hoku played
And
very
they don't know
smart.
it yet.
There she's grabbed. Now Ulysses is going to drop the Wolf Root. They're doing a ton of damage, but Hoku is able to get out of there before she dies with about half her health remaining, which means they're going to be more aggressive on the bottom for Macro Machines. I think Kel'Thuzad is a harder mage to play, and I think Diablo is a harder tank to play, which is why I would put the execution on. But again, we'll see through this game goes, how this execution goes. Again, this 2-3 split is going to make life more difficult as Dark Knight rotates up with Zul'jin.
I think we both have fair points. It's just seeing the game from different points of view.
Absolutely. So we've got the Furious Blow Seismic Slam start from Hoku, Chains, Warp Chains from Kel'Thuzad, Recklessness from Zul'jin, Soul Shield from Diablo, so if he goes Stomp at 4, we'll probably see Lightning Breath. That's the usual build. I should look up here to see if anyone's dying. And then the gate is already down here.
How long
And
do
we
you think
don't
it's
have
going to take?
low blow. We have Fetid Touch from Stukov. So a change in build here as they're looking for big slows to support Kel'Thuzad's CC. Even
Fetid touch. I mean,
Sorry?
the ranged auto attacks are annoying to deal with because they slow you as you go.
And so this looks like it's going to be a comp that really uses CC to give them control. Now, Even-Handed Blessing, I would say, is the usual for Anduin at level 1. Warbreaker instead of the throw here, so that's interesting. They are going to grab Mumzed. He's going to take a fair amount of damage, but the instant dive down by Ektar, excellent escape there from I'm a Bird, but Ratson gets thrown in again. He's going to take a fair amount of damage here, and there's the bomb, but he pops Spell Shield, and that keeps him healthy as Surely We Scale grabs the bottom neutral siege camp. So Warbreaker instead of throw, that's not something we see a lot, but it is going to increase damage and decrease the cooldown. Now, I've seen Garrosh players say they don't find this as helpful. They think the throw makes the lengths better. They think the cooldown being shorter isn't that helpful because you want to keep it fairly similar to your throw, your E. But to each their own. We do see the Indomitables, the Unstoppable there. Regen Dahaka as opposed to Race Car, which makes sense. There are not quite as many vents or bushes on this map. Rolling Thunder and Mana Tide, just good sustain from Thrall, and Aether Walker Triumvirate for Ming.
Good dodge by Ektar on the arcane chains there. Good anticipation. Oh, the tongue on Ratson! Okay, yep.
Both teams are ignoring camps that are pushing, and this is going to be harder on Macro Machines because they don't have a gate here. We do see a defense on Ilarion here. Ilarion? Yeah, Ilarion. But unfortunately, they're not able to stop these Li Ming bombs, and they don't have an answer to that. Zul'jin just now is starting to auto-attack, but they're already down basically everything to have. And the Immortals are going to go into an aggressive position. So now they're just going to try to race with Ratson trying to distract, but there's a big lead on the side of Surely We Scale. And it seems like, barring a miracle, the first one is going to go over. So they're just trying to take as much shield off as possible. Ratson does get thrown in. He's only got 39 souls so far, but they're not able to lock him down. Arcane has 10 stacks of Master of the Cold Dark. Ektar does get the grab on Stukov. This root comes out. He does get hit by the Chastise, and now he's flipped in. He is going to die. Down goes I'm a Burb.
Very well executed.
In this early game, it is advantage to Surely We Scale. But, if they continue to scale, this game will only get harder for Macro Machines. So it's now 1v1 on the top lane. We're seeing more ordinary splits as Stukov comes back to life. Now, Master of the Cold Dark, he has at 15 now, so now he gets Glacial Spike, which makes it easier to land further. Oh, he doesn't move. Oh, but he isn't punished for being caught in that stun, as Tie-Dye Tights does not hit him. They're focusing on the building here. Beleth will go down to be resummoned later. But this fort is already down to about a third of its health. Icon, what does Macro Machines need to do, in your opinion, to get this fight, or to get this battle back in their favor?
They need to punish the Garrosh's positioning. The Garrosh right now is able to do whatever he pleases. I think that this is going to be on Dark Knight to punish the Garrosh anytime he steps up. Be tagging him all the time. Right now he only has 3 stacks of U1 Axe. That needs to be double, triple that.
There's the flip, and then the immediate censure on Rats, and he's taking a lot of damage, and he pops the spell shield, which once again keeps him alive. With 70 souls, I believe that is... 25 plus 50 armor.
Thrall is taking the top lane.
So another 35% there. Thrall is getting the siege camp here. It's a 3v4 in the bottom, but our blue team is kind of afraid to start engaging. Now, they see Thrall at the top lane, so they will go immediately on the neutral camp, but Sonya now has to defend this by herself, and with only melee attacks and melee abilities, this is going to be difficult. Hoku has to play it safe. If she gets tongued and rooted outside of her fort's range, she will die.
Just focus on clearing the camp.
Oh, but Diablo gets killed in the bot lane.
Oh, I didn't see that. I missed that.
They're just protecting the siege camp here. There's not much Hoku can do. She is going to step up to grab, but here comes the tongue. She's grabbed the pulled out. Here comes the root.
Dark Knight got thrown.
No, the spin. Oh, they.
Dark Knight is tagging Garrosh. That's what she needs to do, or they need to do.
Lots of damage here on Memes. They're going to try to grab him with the chink. Good sidestep by Memes.
Good
this
dodge.
top fort is going down. It is finished. The 2-3 split is now. They stole the tech. They stole the 2-3 tech from Macro Machines, and they're using it to their advantage very, very well. As there's still a siege camp pushing in the top, and Hoku has to answer, which means race advantage will go to Surely We Scale. As 10s come out,
I would love to see Thrall go Earthquake here.
You want to hold he does go Earthquake, it comes in! They grab Stukov and flip him in immediately, everyone is so low. Kel'Thuzad will go down first, but I'm a Burb also super low, as well as Ratson. This fight is all over the place. I'm a Burb actually gets away as they choose to focus the Diablo instead.
Yeah, Earthquake is the perfect ult here, because it's going to hold them in place and let your team do the work that you need them to do.
They also steal this camp, and this game is snowballing away from Macro Machines at the moment, as once again, they have put 0 damage down onto Ilarion. Or sorry, onto Beleth. Ilarion is at half health. They still haven't hit 10 yet. As Ektar and out, as Dahaka takes down the bot fort, they have now no forts, no damage on the Punisher, and they have to regroup, hit 10, and find a wombo fight. So, the Immortals, it will go 100% to Surely We Scale as they take, and they're looking for the reverse sweep.
We have no
here.
pick on Kel'Thuzad. Shadow Fisher.
Shadow Fisher. Leap, Tazdingo, Apocalypse. So we do have a chance for Leap Apocalypse. And if timed well, that can 100% turn a fight to the advantage of Macro Machines. 92 souls on Diablo. He'd like to hit a few more, but still only 17 stacks. He needs that 75% increase in spell power.
Do not underestimate the 2-level diff.
Well,
the 2-level diff gives them 8% health, scaling, and mana.
We also have an incredible wombo on the other team. With the Earthquake...
Look at Ratson's positioning.
With the Earthquake, there's the opportunity
Here comes Dahaka.
Then to taunt and light bomb. They do grab Ratson with the tongue. There's the flip. He's taking a lot of damage. He does throw Apocalypse down, but light bomb is wasted also. So Beleth has been getting chunked away by the team. Ratson trying to find a good position, but unfortunately it just left him again. Now Ektar does get grabbed, but Burrows at the perfect time. Arcane playing for the Shadow Fisher finish, But without a tank, they're just going to have to patiently play back. The flailing swipe comes out. The Belith is going to finish this keep.
This is a keep, a 9-minute keep.
So, Surely we Scale is going to back off, but again, now the top gate is being killed by a siege camp. They are pulling their opponents all over the map, and the macro pressure now is entirely in Surely We Scales. They've scaled into macro, baby. That's a little terrifying. Mama needs to scale. They absolutely do. They need the Zul'jin to come online, and with only 9 stacks so far, Dark Knight desperately needs a power-up, and so does Kel'Thuzad. I think in picking 2 heroes that need stacks to go online, they've really given the early game over to their opponents, and they picked strong early game champions. Thrall, very strong. Li Ming, strong. Dahaka, he basically has everything in his kit from day 1.
Mama's only chance here is to turtle up, let all the XP on the map come to them, give up everything they need, give up this other keep. I know it's going to hurt, but they're going to have to just give it up, turtle up, and soak. They are down a talent tier. They are down 2 levels.
Alternately, they need the perfect fight here.
Ratson
gets caught again.
Being
aggressive, not using Fire Stamp Scout. He gets taunted, can't use any abilities, and dies. Now, he did have Soul Shield, which is going to leave, or sorry, he had 100 souls, which means he comes back in 5 seconds, but now he's going to be much, much squishier. As this Garrosh, like we said in the draft, Garrosh is making Diablo's life living hell. And the Primeval doesn't want to go back to hell. He likes it here.
They do have plenty of wave clear, so they can just literally turtle up.
They do manage to keep their keep, although the Bruiser camp has come up in 15, and it seems like Ektar might be interested in that, although he will push a large wave into the core. Immortals are spawning in 3, and Surely We Scale is ready to go right now, attacking Ilarion with everything they've got outside of the Dahaka. Blue team has to travel in a 5-man group right now. They cannot afford anyone to get caught. Meme's Head anchoring in the bush. And it's going to be the halftime show before they even are able to show up here. And there it is. Do they want the team fight here, or do they just want to try defending? It's hard to know what's in the minds of Mama, as they desperately do not want to give up this game only 12 minutes in.
Mama should just back up. Take their
There's
camp.
The leap into the stump. Oh, what a pull! Kagamine Len doing the perfect shot there. There's the throw on Tidal Tights to keep her safe, and then the throw and taunt onto Rats, and he's all alone. But in the bottom, Ektar's being chosen. A desperate heal there from Kagamine Len. The desperate pair saves Ektar's life, and the puddle is not enough.
The 3-level lead.
And the 16s are coming online. The double. Now here comes the Earthquake. This is going to be hard to dodge any of the skill shots. And, oh, the end! No, oh my goodness, and these resets. It's a 5 for nothing. And they're not even going to bother finishing off Ilarion. They're just going to go for core here. Now
they already have 2 catapults there.
Aren't incredibly long death timers. The Diablo's up already, and Zul'jin will be up in 12. But Ratson is just staying. No, he's going to come out. He's going to try to defend his core. Fire Stomp. Back on his horse, trying to find an opportunity.
That's all he can do.
He gets thrown in, grabbed, chastised, taunted, dead. Dark Knight, Hoku, Arcane the 13th are coming up here. Stukov will be up in a moment, but it's just taking too much damage. 15%, 10%, 5%, 0. The reverse sweep from Surely We Scale. They defeat Macro Machines in this game and in this set 2-1. As we, for the first time in this set, there was a win not by the team who picked it. We will go into our game summary here. I will look for an interview if you want to give us a bit of an overview on the stats and talents.
I mean, the stats are pretty skewed in Surely We Scale's favor. It's going to be hard for anybody to have anything on Macro Machines stats. And that's not saying they didn't try. They just weren't able to contribute anything really in team fights. I think that the way they played the first couple minutes with the 2-1 against Hoku up in the top lane really kind of dictated where the fight was. The Thrall was a really solid pick, especially with the Earthquake. It prevented them from getting away. The thrall allows the other ults to hit, allows the other heroes to stick to them, and it was just well played by
A,
Surely We Scale.
a very early game victory with him. So we do have an interview with the captain, Meme Zed, and the tank of Surely We Scale. We'll pop up and chat with him and see what his thoughts were about this game. Meme Zed, congratulations on the reverse sweep. I'd like to ask
Ah,
I'd like to ask
thank
you
you.
about the first game there. Was that 2-3 split on Brax's holdout something your team was expecting, or did that kind of come out of left field for you?
It came out of left field. Are we like? I think we had a pause at the very start of like I had a bug thing, and then like while we were paused, like Ektar was like, "What if they put Karazim and Sonya top?" And I was like, "Oh, no." And I like their drafting there was really good because we were like, okay, they're gonna ban the Junkrat. We just take a Crummy because we've been playing a lot of Crummy lately. And then when the Crummy got picked, it was like, it was they played it really well and they outdrafted us. So I was like,
And we saw a Transcendence Karazim in game one, which we never see, but it seemed to work really well into the Genji Murden. As you guys went up to try and stop him, you didn't have enough CC to stop the auto attack, stop the healing, and even 2v3, they were able to kind of push you off. Did that kind of make you guys uncertain on how you ought to go forward into that game to control beacons?
it was kind of tough because like the way that I wanted to play it was like bully someone bottom at like try and use our superior rotational ability because especially as Muradin and like Genji not so much, but Murad, like I can afford to duel on point for a little bit. Ideally though, I'm the one who holds the point, not them. So yeah, it was definitely frustrating to be like, oh my god, we can't do anything about the kerosene.
And
I might
let you ask more questions about Game 2, Icon, but I'll ask one more question. You guys had some great wombo combos in Game 1 with the Entomb into Ring of Frost with the Octopus Puddle in the middle of it, really blowing some people up, which gave you maybe a door back into that game. Is that something that you guys are really all about in Surely We Scale, like hitting big wombos? You really seem to draft wombo comps, but it was working really well in Game 1 until Chromie just managed to shred you down anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy playing. Like we've been practicing a little bit of wombo stuff lately. I don't think that's the only thing that we do, but it's just like it's easier to drill that than other styles of stuff, like ratting or something like that, where you just have to do that target back and forth. And it's definitely something like we like in the series we've lost a lot of the times it's because the other teams are cleaner at executing a good wombo, and like either we didn't draft the save tools or we just like misplayed them. And I think like game one, there were some moments like we haven't practiced that wombo a ton, like the Jaina Leo Entomb. And I think there were times where we could have killed people. We just weren't, we needed to rip our buttons and we didn't.
Gotcha.
Like I don't think post 10, like Joe, she can't, like she's pretty vulnerable to Entomb. So there were times where I was yelling and I'd be like, we can go on the Joe, I think. But we were just, and they said that like the slowing sense was really good for them because it meant that the only people we can ever go on are their front line, because all Chromie has to do is like, oh, they're going on the back line, I will put slowing sands in the way. And we took some like disastrous fights like on their bot left camp.
Yeah,
where,
Dark Knight had some absolutely fantastic stasis on Chromie in that too, where
she it's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions about Game 2 for Memes at Here Icon?
In Game 2, we saw a big priority of like, to me, it looked like you guys wanted to fight in the hallways of the points. You had the Hanzo, you had the Sylvanas, you had the Anubrak, who is just eating up all the skill shots and surviving pretty much everything. I really applaud that style of play, and I just want to hear your take on what your mindset was drafting that comp.
Really so much a specific comp. Like we were really arguing what we should do on our last pick there, and like Ektar was like, we should take Hanzo here, it's really good here. And so I have to big shout out for him for like making us force it, because it felt really good there. I was pretty worried about it because I was like, okay, if they play their Falstad cleanly, like we engage and then they just gust us out. And there was one fight where it happened, like all of their team was like on like, they had like 3 heroes sub 20% and the gust was just perfect. So it was like amazing stuff like that. And I'm
Fight
really
in the mid lane where
glad.
every alt was used and no one died.
Yeah, no one died. Yeah, and it was like that frustrating thing where you're like, oh, they're so low, but we can't touch them at all.
Ulysses had some excellent plays that game, but it became a running joke that he was really bothering Vandar's wife because he kept firing arrows that went just right off the end of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's not NA if you're not shooting NA arrows.
In EU, those arrows would have turned around and hit.
Exactly. They have the Patriot missile arrow where it sort of does a scourge, turns around, and slams into them from behind.
So both
Exactly.
teams won the maps that they chose, and Game 3 was a similar look to Game 1, but you guys stole their 2-3 tech and used it against them. Were you planning on that from the moment you saw that BOE was the map, or is it something? Did someone call an audible there that Ektar and Ulysses would pressure down Hoku Sonya?
We didn't plan that in draft. I was just like, wait, they drafted 2 scalers who really want to stack on us, but we have Garrosh. Like, they can't siege us for free. Because, like, if they try to siege our bot wall, Garrosh can just ride up mountain and toss someone under our towers or behind our gate. And I was like, okay, we don't want to stack them. Let's just send 2 people top. Like, what are they going to do? Who are they going to rotate? And they did end up rotating someone, but it wasn't... I was just like, I figured it would be a better way to play it. I wasn't sure, but it worked out that way. I didn't see what happened, but I think Hoko unfortunately had a rough time up there.
Yeah, they rotated Zul'jin, and it was very hard for her. Anyway, go ahead, Icon.
Now, I had called in draft before you guys picked it that I wanted to see Thrall here, and I wanted to see the Earthquake, because on Battlefield of Eternity, everybody clumps up in the middle of the map, and they want to fight, and what better way to stick on somebody than a big giant AoE slow? What was the thought process going into that, picking the Thrall? And I honestly think that, who played it, Ektar? He played it beautifully.
Ulysses played the Thrall, Ektar was into Haka.
Ulysses played the Thrall, okay. They were playing it beautifully with the rotation, the mind games on Hoku, because she never knew if she was 2v1 or not.
Yeah, the big shout out to Ulysses. Like, he actually hasn't played a ton of Thrall, so we were just, it was like, okay, it looks like Thrall, and it was a snap decision. I was like, no, we play Thrall here, like, with 2 seconds left on the, and like, big shout out to him. Like, he played it really well. I'll have to go back and watch and see how it went top.
Yeah, well, great Garrosh too. I mean, I have a friend, I mentioned this to a friend who always says Garrosh ruins Diablo's day. So if he picks Diablo, he bans the Garrosh. But you guys really caught Ratson out a couple of times. I think he just wanted to get some vision, and you guys blew him up even with full souls. So full value series, full value reverse sweep. Is there any shoutouts you'd like to make before we close out the stream here, Memezed?
Couple, yeah. You guys for streaming, like, I really appreciate it. I really enjoy watching streams. It feels good to know that we're being streamed. Like, I really appreciate the time and effort you guys put into this. Shout out to Macro Machines, and especially to I'm a Burb, who, like, we used to play with. So, like, big respect. Nice to play some games against you. And also, like, shout out to my team for, we've had a lot of 1-2 series so far where we won normally the second map and then lost in the third one. And I think our mental tonight was better than it's ever been. So that feels good to be like, okay, we're not mentally booming even after we got done in pretty badly on game 1. So I'm really proud of everyone for keeping it together.
Yeah, excellent job, your team. Now, would you like to throw some shade on Hoku for not taking Artanis on probably 3 maps she could have picked Artanis on?
Oh, wait, one more second. I'm getting flamed in chat, flamed in DMs. I would like to thank Kagamine Len for being an amazing, wonderful healer who saves all of our asses when we end. I actually, back to the Hoku Artanis. I was legitimately like, do I ban the Artanis? I don't want to deal with it. I got bullied by Ektar into banning the Vala. But yeah, I was sad not to see it in some ways, but I was also glad not to have to deal with it.
That is fair. Well, excellent job to both these teams. I thought that was an incredible series to watch. Unfortunately, Game 3 was a little bit, anticlimactic in that they picked scaling heroes and you guys didn't. But thank you so much for letting us cast such an entertaining series. The VODs will be available on Twitch for 7 days, but it'll also be on my YouTube, which is just my name, Omster. And thanks for joining us for the interview, Memezed.
I do see it. Unlucky. Thank you so much for the cast. Really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thanks.
See you in the next. Bye.
So I've been Omster, and that was Memezed and our co-caster Icon.
Bye bye.
So that was, yeah, a big series between these two teams, Macro Machines and Surely We Scale. A lot of fun was had. We had almost a full 2 hour here. Uh, stream here. So, GG's played here. Incredibly interesting drafts. Arcane 13th playing three different interesting heroes in Karazim, then Falstad, then Kel'Thuzad. So shoutouts to the creative drafting from Macro Machines. I think that's one of my favorite things about NGS is we're not married to the pro meta. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Again, you can watch the VODs on Twitch or see these videos once they're uploaded to YouTube, usually within about 2 hours of the end of stream. Thank you so much, Icon, to co-casting with me to give my voice a break. And thanks to anyone who may have jumped in and followed tonight. That support means everything. And if we can get to 50 followers, we might even be able to affiliate Ohm's Terrific on the channel. So we'll give Icon a chance to say goodnight, and then we'll shut this stream down.
Hi guys, thanks for letting me cast. It's always fun to pick apart these drafts and pick apart the gameplay. Nothing ever personal. It's just an analysis point of view, and if anything, I hope people can learn from it.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll cast again soon. Go enjoy yourself some HOTS. Good night.